Counselor Manny Martinez,
Present.
Counselor Dorothy Valdez, Counselor Aaron Salazar.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Miss Emma. First, I'd like to apologize for being late to this meeting. I came directly from work. So next on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Counselor Salazar made the motion to approve, a second by Counselor Manny Martinez. Thank you, senores.
Sí.
Miss Emma, do we have any public comments tonight?
No, ma'am.
Next on the agenda is committee member comments. Do we have any committee member comments? Mr. Martinez, any comments?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to thank Jeremy and his staff and everybody for all they're doing. I think they've been doing a fantastic job. I just want to say that everything went great for the art festival back in September. And so I just want to thank him and thank Gabriela and of course all the staff for all that they've done. Sherry had some great art out there. I don't know if anybody went out to go check it out, but she does a fantastic job. Jeremy was also there throughout a lot of the process when they were bringing in the art. So I know he got to see a lot of the art and actually was a judge for one of our contests, which was great. So I want to thank him for that. We also learned that he's an artist himself. And so we hope that maybe he'll get in, as in the words that we say, get animao and bring some art next year for the art festival. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez or Counselor Martinez. It's good to know. Jeremy, what kind of art do you do?
Acrylic on wood, and I use the traditional Aboriginal Australian styles of painting, and I make the boomerangs and the didgeridoos on which I paint, as well as the bull roars. So in my younger days, I was a traveling artist. Yes.
Would love to see your artwork. Matters from the chair. I would just like to take this opportunity to welcome our city manager, Mr. Eric Lujan, who is in attendance. This has been a first since I've been committee chair, and so I want to thank you. Actually, let me back that up. Miss Sally Baxter did attend one meeting, but it is really important that the city manager attends these meetings. Community service is something that our constituents really look forward to. And so your presence means a lot to us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So next on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Motion to approve by Councillor Salazar. Councillor Martinez, can I get a second? Councillor Martinez, can you hear us?
Sorry about that. I lost connection for a little bit.
So we have a motion to approve by Councillor Salazar the minutes. Do we get a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Discussion and recommendation items to the full council. The intent of recommendation items placed on city committee meeting agendas are recommended by majority of the committee to the full council for final approval and or denial by the governing body. B, co-sponsorship of the 25th annual electric light parade. Mr. Jeremy.
Sure, I'll introduce this on behalf of the Downtown Action Team of Espanola, and they are requesting permission to for co-sponsorship of the 25th Annual Electric Light Parade to be held on December 9th, 2023. The Downtown Action Team of Espanola is requesting co-sponsorship with the City of Espanola. We are requesting services from the streets and police departments. We are also requesting the opportunity to apply for lodger's tax if any is made available. Downtown Action Team Espanola would like to continue the tradition of the Electric Light Parade this year, especially since this will be the last year our organization will host the parade. I am requesting that we be placed on the next community services agenda. That was a letter from Christine Bustos, president of the Downtown Action Team of Espanola. I have already placed that on the agenda for next week because it is time sensitive to make sure that people have enough time to plan and prepare if it does get approved. I do not know what dollar amount they are requesting. I can have that before the meeting next Tuesday. Just to be clear, and then obviously road closures and increased police presence during the event is also what they're asking for.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Counselor Martinez, second by Counselor Salazar. Is there any discussion? C, discussion and possible action on motion for long-term plans for the restrooms and concession stands score booth at Ranchitos Park.
So this was briefly mentioned at our last community services meeting, and it has been the concession stand restrooms and the score booth above building that is right there at Ranchitos Park next to the baseball field is unfortunately in significant disrepair. It is a harboring crime, essentially, with the drugs and loitering and graffiti. It's broken into a number of times this summer. I got calls from neighbors across the street that said, hey, there's people camped out inside the restrooms there. Please do something about it ASAP. And the facility itself was utilized maybe 2 times for the restrooms throughout the summer, but once we got in there, they needed such cleaning that it really wasn't in a usable state just to open it up and you have the Little League baseball, I think we're asking to use it, or something at the park. So unfortunately, it is a bit of an eyesore. It is a bit of a nuisance in that it is an easy place to hide behind from street view. So if PD shows up, they have multiple directions to run before they really find out who's there, what's going on. And I understand that we would like to have nice facilities and keep them operational for the community to use. And I think we're at a crossroads where are we going to spend a lot of money to bring this up to what it needs to be? Or are we going to tear it down, level it, and then as we make improvements on that park, which is in the short-term plans, that it will kind of be a fresh start for that area. We just started today looking at the tennis courts and basketball courts need some repair. There are lights over there. There's the chain link fencing. The surface needs to be redone. So if we get some new concrete there, maybe 1 new court, so it'd be 2 total new basketball courts there, that would be great. Tennis is kind of a fading trend. Pickleball is on the rise like you would not believe across the nation. And so for every 1 tennis court, you can have 2 pickleball courts that are there permanently, get the outdoor nets that are, not easily vandalized. The lights are on timers so they can be played in the summer. And there is a pickleball community here in Espanola. We started the pickleball program and had off to a good start. on that. So yeah, I think that's one of those resources that we can provide at a minimal cost and will have a huge impact on the community.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Sure.
I've met extensively since last week with Jeremy and with Jeff Sargent from GSD. Of course, it's the preview of the council, the governing body, this committee, and the governing body to address whatever they feel needs to be done. I've gone to this park on several occasions, in fact, twice today. With Daniel Fresquez from our Public Works, who Parks is under Public Works. I need to look at that. There is a master plan and we do have funding right now. I believe, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong. We have quite a bit of money that's there, that's been sitting there for quite a while. And there is a what I like to call a master plan to improve this park. LED lighting, batting cages, pickle, is it called pickleball, I guess is picking up now. And I know you had it set up the other day when I first met you. And down in the Lucero Center. So I did get to see it. And if it's on the rise, I mean, I don't want to sit idle on this money anymore. Let's do something. Let's use it. This park is outdated a little bit. It's as far as facilities, the fields look great though. I'll say that. The fields are all taken care of. The pool, you've got a game plan with that as well, Jeremy. We spoke about that. So, let's utilize that money. I think in your next meeting, and it should have been maybe on the agenda today, we need to bring Jeff Sargent for this committee. And also the superintendent of public works, Elijah, bring them forward so that we can discuss this and start using that money to improve this park. Now, if this is part of your idea of tearing down this concession stand, that's a governing body decision. This is committee's recommendation, whatever wishes you want. Or do we improve it? Use some of that money to improve. That's up to you. That's not, Jeremy can only make a recommendation to this committee. You are the ultimate decision makers. But there's a lot of good potential there. And there's a lot of space. The tennis courts, I had the weeds all done there today. They were all cleared out. So let's move forward with something that's going to really have a good impact and improve our park, because Valdez Park as well, as we look to improve that as well too. But I think moving forward, let's start with Ranchitos and let's build it, bring it up to par and beyond. It has so much potential. It really does.
Agree with you. Elsa? Do you want to discuss anything?
Ranchitos is it's an eyesore, and I think it's a safety issue as well, especially the concession stand. So I think it would be a good idea to take it to council for consideration on redoing that park first. It's a good idea, as you mentioned.
Money's just been sitting on it.
So how much money did you say?
That again, that's a good question for Jeff Sargent. He's been working on that, and that's the federal grant that was dedicated for that
For lighting?
facility.
Was it the $450,000 for life?
I don't know the number off the top of my head. It
It's
was
more than just lighting, man.
it was irrigation and some play structure, and I think the basketball court was in there for an upgrade. And that project was started in 2019, and when they did the site plan for that.
I've heard today funding from anywhere between 300,000 and 700,000. So I'm not sure where it's at, but we'll get Jeff before you guys if you want to do it before you take it to full council. But I urged this committee to act fast so we can spend that money. Let's get this park up. It's long overdue.
Councilor Martinez?
Thank you, ma'am. I know that there was a substantial amount of money, and as Mr. Lujan has stated, a master plan that included, I believe, even new structures for playground structures, as well as a stage to be able to have different activities out there in the evenings, concerts, shows, stuff like that. I believe there was even going to be a walking path that was going to be made, and of course, more lighting, especially along the northern portion of the full park. So I know that there was a substantial amount of money that was granted for that. I just don't think we have started any of the projects. This goes back to when Jeremy Maestas, I believe, was the community services director, or prior to that. But it's kind of sad that we have to keep replacing structures instead of keeping updating them or maintaining them. And here we are, I mean, granted, I'm sure it's more than 15, 20 years old, but it'd be nice to, if we can, when we do, because I think it is important to, if it's in the shape that Mr. Jeremy says it is, then I think it is time for it to come down and modernize it and put a good structure there, maybe located in a better area, maybe perhaps that might make it more safe as far as for the public is concerned, and better to be maintained. So that's my thoughts on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Martinez.
Madam Chair, if I can suggest something. I met with the Economic Development Committee today, along with Jolene, and I've asked, as far as cannabis money is concerned, regardless of whatever county it is, the GRTs that are supposed to be returned back to local governments is 8%. 4% goes to the county and 4% goes to the municipality. We have 13 dispensaries, cannabis and other grow dispensaries that are making money in this community. We haven't seen a dime in this community from those. I've asked that I've had a long conversation with the mayor today, that we put those guaranteed monies, the GRTs that we gain, which is 4%, doesn't matter if it's in Santa Fe County or Rio Grande County, we split the difference with them, right? We start getting those GRTs in, that committee be tasked at how we use that money economically. So if we're going to tear this building down, this would be an economic opportunity for us to build a new one possibly, and using those funds to do that. That was just something we could take directly from us and really putting cannabis to work in this community. And I think partnering with the Economic Development Committee, which is chaired by Joanne Salazar, you got Marlon Martinez on there, you've got Mr. Vigil from up there, from I think here from the west side, and the former city councilman Floyd Archuleta, that are on that committee. And so why not start putting our money to use there? That's an economic development, because you know what, that concession stand money will also make money for the city.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, to allocate that 4% to give back to the community. So I'm glad that you're having those conversations with our mayor. I hope that we can move forward with that. I do want to state that I kind of feel the same way as Councilor Martinez. You know, I have a long history with the city of Espanola, and it's really disheartening to me that we receive grant money and we build these facilities, but we don't upkeep them. And we can't continue to build facilities and then tear them down 10, 15 years later. We have a responsibility to maintain our facilities. And that's annually. That's not, 5 years down the road, our concession stand is in deplorable condition. I think coming up with walkthroughs at the end of the season, for whatever season it is, in our facilities, so that we can address the issues that need to be taken care of. I do agree that our community deserves facilities that are in tip-top shape and that we take care of. The other thing, it was mentioned about the tennis courts. The history on the tennis courts is there's an issue with drainage. That's why they're in the conditions that they're in. So I think looking back as to what has caused the deterioration of these facilities is really important as well. The last thing that we want to do is put another basketball court out there and have drainage issues, because we're going to see the same thing over and over. So I guess it's getting qualified people to provide that insight on what's required for each of these facilities. I'm not against tearing it down. I think that if that's your recommendation, I trust your judgment. I just think that we have a responsibility to take care of what we have. So the other thing, one more thing. Can someone please provide this committee with the master plan that we referred to during this meeting? I would like to see that.
I don't, Madam Chair, I'm calling it a master plan. I'm not sure what it is, but it's been around, as Jeremy said, since 2019. And I call it a master plan because it's already been planned out. This money's been set aside for these improvements. Let's take advantage of it now.
So if there's an actual document,
Yep.
can you please?
So it's not an internal master plan with the city. It was a proposal that was submitted for the federal grant that was awarded in 2019, 2020. And there's a packet that refers to everything that's part of the proposal and part of that grant that we have to adhere to. And I think it's in 3 phases. And I know that Jeff Sargent does have that. So yeah, we can definitely have him show that to us next month. If
I
he's
think that
available.
would be important. I'd like to see it. I don't know
Mhm.
about the rest of the committee. The other thing is that I believe that this money that we're referring to with this federal grant is we stood to lose that not too long ago, a year ago, I believe. So I agree that we need to move forward as quickly as possible. We need to utilize these funds before we lose them. That's the thing. We get these federal grants and then they sit there, as you said, and we don't utilize them. And at some point, they're going to stop giving us the money if we don't utilize it. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we've got department reports.
Just a point of order, there was a possible action where you guys.
Oh, there was. I'm sorry. Yes. Was it, you made the motion, right?
Yeah.
And what's your motion, Aaron? So your,
Long-term plans.
so motion to take to full council.
The only issue I have with that is that we don't have an amount of what it'll cost us to tear that down
Or to build it back up.
or to build it back up.
Madam Chair, Councilor Martinez and Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, in our discussions, we'd handle it in-house. Public Works would tear it down. We'd get with the Hemis and the gas company, shut off the gas, shut off the electricity, shut off the water, and our people would tear it down. So it'd be something handled internally. We wouldn't have to go out to bid or to anything outsource it. It's something that we believe we can handle through Public Works and GSD.
So, Mr. CM, what about if the full council, if the governing body agrees to tear this down? What are we looking at as far as timeline? Because we've got games that are going to be coming around again in the summertime. What are they currently doing for games? Or bathrooms?
I'm going to pass this over to Ashley. She's our aquatics and recreation supervisor and was dealing with the users of that facility.
Hey,
So this past Little League season, they were utilizing the Valdez Park as well as the Sportsplex. They did not utilize the Ranchitos parks at all this year. And I think that one of the reasons that changed is because Sportsplex became available due to not having the spring and summer softball leagues going on due to circumstances that had occurred. So I think going forward, if they want to utilize those, they need it. All of our leagues probably, because we have a huge little league community here and very few fields. And they were also using the Memorial Park as well. So I know over the summer we had a soccer league there, and it was brought to my attention that they were just going and on their own and utilizing the fields, which, you know, it's a public facility, public park. But that is a great area to do soccer in because it's huge and it has a lot of grass. But if we do make those improvements that are necessary, I think it could be a beautiful facility and park. Bringing in the basketball courts or the pickleball courts, redoing the concession, making sure that the security there is better. We've talked about it before, putting the fence around the whole park and the pool area. And I think that's a big necessity. Not just for the pool parking lot, but, you know, kind of enclosing that hole from the concession all the way to the other side is a big need for that. And if we can make sure that that safety is in place, it would be a great area for our community.
Well, thank you, Ashley, for everything that you do. You are appreciated.
Thank you.
But that's.
When was the last time that concession stand was utilized over there?
It's been ongoing, utilized every Sunday. They're renting out the facility, the baseball field. They're just doing kind of like their own little tournaments. So they utilize the bathrooms every Sunday.
But not the concession stand.
Not the concession stand hasn't been used since I've been in this position.
So potentially
43 years now, so it hasn't been, that I've seen it's been used, it's probably more than 4 or 5 years that I've seen it been used.
So a short-term solution before a new facility is built are portable porta potties for the season or as needed, because I think that's the biggest need there when events are happening.
Counselor Salazar?
Does this still have electrical, or have they pulled all the copper from the building?
From the concession itself?
Yeah.
Counselor Salazar, that is something I don't know, but I can confirm for you for the next meeting. I'll have to get with Jeff to see if that's been, the concession hasn't been utilized, so I haven't actually gone out to see if there's electrical in there.
Like city manager mentioned, if it is not, you do have all the utilities already. I mean, if the electricals, if the already taken, you know, the theft of all the copper, that's a lot harder to reinstall and stuff, but okay, I just wondered.
Yeah, we do have that issue.
When my son played ball, he's 37, so that tells you how long ago that was. But when he played ball, they used to call the games. That's what concession stands were used for, not just for goods, but to call the games. Does that not happen anymore? No? So kids just play. They don't call the games. They don't say you're out, home run, all of that.
Not that I say, well, my son's in T-ball, so we haven't gotten to the home runs and your outs yet. So, yeah, we just yeah. They just keep running.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And Little League didn't have a concession this past year either. So they have in their contract, they could utilize the concession and they have their own locks and they have the equipment in there. So they were able to utilize the concession if they had wanted to. This is at the Valdez Park. Like I said, they didn't utilize the Ranchitos Park at all this last season. So that's concession. And I could get with Pamela with Little League and see if when the last year they used the concession at Ranchitos, so we can kind of have more of a gauge on time there when that was last utilized for you.
I think it's important for us to consider involving the Little League community and those that utilize our facilities and have a meeting with them. so that we can hear what their dreams are and what their visions are for their children in our community. Those aren't just our decisions. This is a community decision. And I think that's something that we should schedule right away so that we can get feedback from them on how to proceed. I mean, to listen to them, and then we can collectively decide how to move forward.
I can definitely reach out to them this week and maybe possibly put them on the agenda for next committee meeting. if you'd like.
That would be good.
If it all plans out with timing.
You've said that twice. Yeah, so okay, well, can we work on a special meeting, Jeremy? Thank you.
Now you got finance committee up and running, starting tomorrow,
Right.
you know, and within the uproar, that's gonna be, that's something that hasn't been done in a year and a half.
Yes. Thank you. Actually, you're doing such a good job. You're holding two positions.
Oh, like I've always said, I mentioned to Chair, I think last week, I couldn't do it without my staff. I would always commend them for stepping up and being there. Because it wouldn't be running very smoothly if it was just myself up there. So yeah, they definitely helped me swim through all the chaos and to succeed as a team. So thank you.
Well, and that's something that I've said over and over is that's a characteristic that I really appreciate. That you do give acknowledgement to the staff because it does take a team to get things done.
Yes. Let's acknowledge them. They matter a lot, so. Going forward. I'm sorry.
I still rely heavily on you for your knowledge and experience.
Yes.
So we're gonna table the discussion on the Ranchitos Park concession stand pending a special meeting that Mr. Jeremy Smith and Ashley will set up as per recommended by our city manager. Next, we have department reports.
Yep. Actually, looks like you're first.
Jeremy, do you happen to have a copy of my report? I grabbed August, not September. Ranchitos Pool, just talking about the Ranchitos Pool, it has been closed August 25th was the last day. We had the end of summer's back to school bash, it was awesome. We are currently finishing winterizing it, just went over there today, all the railings, my heater's on. The water fountain taken out. We have a game plan, I believe, for this week or next week to get the new cover, because we did purchase a new cover last year, put on. And get that secured, because it is a safety cover. I believe that's either this week or next week. That's part of the plan to get that going. For Ranchitos, and then we're just starting to do the walkthrough. I know you had recommended it last season to kind of gauge on what we need to begin the next season. So I'm kind of just taking the inventory and what our needs are. And I know right now the biggest thing is repairing or redoing the fence around the pool, because I feel that's where our biggest issues are at Ranchitos. I believe that's been talked about the last meeting as well. We did get our water heaters. I wanted to ask you, was there plenty of hot water this summer that you noticed?
There was. and
Okay.
I want to say thank you, but that's one of the walkthroughs that I think that we need to do is inside the facility itself. We have a lot of showers that are inoperable, and I think that they're needed. And they've been that way for many years. So I think they need to be taken care of.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think going forward, that's part of our plans in the future to get everything fixed and up to par. When Jeremy came in, he noticed a lot of those issues. And he helped move some of those things along and getting things repaired. Even the big round window in the front, he was very adamant in making that happen. I believe that's been out for, I can't even tell you how many years. So those little things of improvements you can definitely see, so.
Well, and kudos to Jeremy for taking care of our swamp-like thing that we had at Ranchitos and making that beautiful cover. Till we have a plan on what to do with that pool, but it looks so much nicer. It's aesthetically
Mhm.
accepting now instead of walking in and saying, oh my goodness, what is that?
Yeah, that kid pool is still in discussion of what we're actually gonna do with it for a long term. That's probably gonna have to be discussed further in different meeting. I know I've recommended covering it up just because of getting the leak test done and the amount of money that's gonna take to get in it, then work on it. But that's something that we definitely need to look into further, so we can have a game plan.
And here we go again, right? We're talking about a concession stand, we're gonna knock down, we're talking about a pool, we're gonna fill in, and this is just,
I would like to, short-term plans, the idea of splash pad, 0 entry pool. That park has plenty of room right there between the pool and the grass park area. For something like that, I think, you know, putting something new and usable and up to date, like a splash pad for that age, people won't even notice that the kiddie pool is no longer there. And that would be my 2 to 3 year plan for that area.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, that would be really nice to kind of redo that whole idea.
What would it take to guard something like that? How many lifeguards would you need?
We would need lifeguards, and I'd have to check in on the water park certifications that might be needed for the guards, further training for that. But that's usually included in the lifeguard certs that we do. However, sometimes we don't do that because we're not at a water park setting. So, but it might just take a little bit of extra training to, and of course the staff. But this year I had a great amount of staff and we did an awesome job. So we can continue with those numbers and keeping them high. The lifeguards, it would definitely be successful because we were able to have both the Lucero Center and the Ranchitos pool open. So I find that a big success with the amount of staff that we did have.
And I believe the splash pad up in Los Alamos is lifeguard free because it doesn't have any standing water, like it kind of drains, so there's not actually the drowning risk. So I don't know, but I don't know if they're depending on at what level of water that additional lifeguard is required. So we can definitely check into that before we.
I think that's something to consider,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for the kids because we haven't had anything for them in a pool setting for a very long time.
And we just, kind of throw them on sink or swim, kind of.
That
So.
kiddie pool hasn't been in operation since 2006, so it's important.
Yeah, it's in dire need of something. So the temporary fix was much needed. I think a lot of people appreciated that, just for the eyesore itself.
Right.
So the Lucero pool is going good. We have our annual health inspection, environmental inspection coming up in November. So just kind of making sure we're all prepared for that. Glenda is our inspector. She's awesome. Worked with her for a few years, so we should be ready for that. Just a couple small things that need to be looked at. As you mentioned, we started our pickleball Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, 9:30 to 11:30. So come take a little break and go play. Check it out if you haven't. I was introduced to it and I was impressed on how fun it can actually be because I hadn't really heard about it. So I played a little bit when they first got that court down. So
Explain, how do you play pickleball?
I don't know all the rules. I kind of just swing and aim at the top right now. So, but it's kind of like
In brief, it's like ping pong that's been supersized and you're on the court itself. You use paddles that are
table.
not like tennis with the strings, but it's paddle, a little bit bigger. And then the ball looks like a wiffle ball. It has more bounce. And then the court is just a little bit smaller than a volleyball court. And the net is low like a tennis court. And so you typically play doubles. You can play singles if you're really energetic. It's a great sport for ages 50 plus, just because it doesn't require as much athleticism or quickness as tennis does. And so for the retired community, they love the pickleball because the games are short. They can, one of my partners I used to play with was 90 years old, and he wasn't really fast, but he could really hit it pretty well. So it was, he was a great partner. And then you switch up teams, so there's the social aspect as well. So you're waiting on the side, but there's conversing happening. It's not just all about the sport, it's about the social aspect of it. So yeah, come by tomorrow 9:30 to 11:30 if you have a chance. There's a introduction to pickleball that's being hosted by one of our local players.
So I made contact today, and he just got into town, and it was kind of a tentative thing to see if it's going to work best for his schedule to start next Tuesday. This was
Okay.
just something that was talked about today when him and I discussed
Okay.
it. So yeah, next Tuesday, 9:30, he's going to do a beginner's clinic to kind of introduce it to everybody. And he was wanting me to put together a sign up sheet to see how many people are wanting to get involved in that. So if you want to sign up, just give me a ring, or if you know people, maybe you can have a small field trip with Las Cumbres. If that's something that they would be interested in going to play.
And we have all the equipment, so there's no cost for anybody to play other than access to the facility. So yeah, it's very easy to get involved.
Oh, great work. I'm excited.
Yeah, something new.
Yeah.
I like new. The men's and co-ed league for softball is on the way. It has a few more weeks, I believe. It's getting cold, and then we will have our annual city sponsored that they do for the turkey tournament that they do every year. Miss Mayo puts that together every year, and she reached out to me about doing it again this year. What they do instead of a entry fee is they put those baskets together of Thanksgiving dinners for the community. So that'll be coming up in November as well. I think that might be the wrap of mine as far as any boxing classes. Of course, he's probably going to be start doing adults only on Fridays. And if anybody wants to join the boxing class with Orlando, he's great. We have our joint Halloween events coming up now on the 27th. It was usually the trunk or treats. So me and Shay kind of talked about involving the pool and kind of doing like a carnival setting in the gym. So I urge and encourage all of you to join us. It'll be fun. It's from 4 to 7. If you want to bring some pumpkins and throw them in the pool for the kids, I'll accept that as well. So,
I think that we need to emphasize the point that we would love large donations of many sizes of pumpkins for the children to retrieve from the pool. So if you know any organizations or anything like that would like to do a kind of a bring a pumpkin for the event collection, maybe we should do some competition among the counselors, like who can contribute the most pumpkins to the Halloween.
Sounds like fun. Counselor Martinez, are you in?
I'm listening. I'm still trying to get over the thought that I'm over 50 and I would qualify to play that game. So I'm like, wait a minute here. Are you saying I'm old? Well, I know me and Aaron for sure. It sounds like it would be fun. I mean, I'd like to give it a try. I'm game to try new things, so I think that would be interesting to do. Thank you.
Any questions from any of the counselors?
Mr. Salazar?
It was on the 27th, the pumpkin and the pool thing.
4 to 7. 4 to 7.
Okay.
Right here.
We're gonna have it at the recreation center, the service center. It'll be in the gym and in the pool.
So the only donations that you're needing right now are pumpkins.
Yes. Is that correct? Sharon, anything else that you got from the other?
Thank you.
And volunteers welcome as well.
Yes, always.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
If you're into decorating spooky for the season, come on by. I might steal some decorations from my home. It's kind of a big thing for me to decorate for holidays, so
I noticed.
It'll be the Friday before the Halloween. And I should talk to Lieutenant Yazzie for their presence as well. So he said he's gonna look into getting a booth and some stuff. I think that it's important for like the police and the firefighters to have their presence in like these community events. So I've been discussing that with him and hopefully we can get them involved as well to have the police department. And I know the firefighters will be there. They're always good about joining in on the fun, so.
So you mentioned you're really gonna throw pumpkins in the water and the kids are gonna go swim after them?
They float, all fall squash floats, so I'm gonna go hose them down and do different age groups for the kids to get in, get a pumpkin. I believe we're gonna have a pumpkin decorating station in the gym. So if they want to take it home, they want to go to the gym, they're welcome to go and do that as one of the activities that will be offered there. Rack Stop will be there with DJ services, so it'll be fun.
Free event, right?
Yes, yes, so it's a free event for our community. Thank you, Ashley. You're welcome. Yes, sir. Very.
Good evening, Madam Chair, councilors, city manager. For the Espanola Public Library for September, our thing is October is National Cookbook Month. So if you need new recipes, stop by, check out some books. We did an informational booth at Northern New Mexico College on during National Latino Behavioral Association screening public service announcements by the youth. We took some information over, not just for the library, but all the community services, recreation, senior center, and we took some from the art center also. As you can see there in October, we have different activities and events that are going to be happening. And as Ashley was talking about with the Halloween party, we have the children ages 6 to 12 can swim and get a pumpkin. They can take it home or they can decorate it at the Lucero Center gym. Right now we have most of the community services departments that are putting up booths inside the gym, along with the municipal courts, Espanola Public Schools, the fire department, Northern New Mexico College and Presbyterian. They're all going to have booths inside the gym to pass out candy or do play different games. The kids can come in and play different games. And of course, this is all free.
And the senior center is baking cakes for a cakewalk.
Yes. So we got everybody involved. So we need more volunteers, like Jeremy said. Statistics for the library for September. And again, they fluctuate now because it's fall and it's starting to slow down again. All the kids are going back to school. We don't have very many kids that come in for after school programs right now. But we do have a lot of grab and go bags that we still do, the arts and crafts. We still have different events that are going on at the library. September, again, as you can see with the revenue compared to last year's revenue, it has really made a big difference there from the 1,023.74 to this year of 395.70. And again, that's because a lot of people aren't coming in or aren't paying their overdue fines and fees. Not very many people. I think the biggest thing we have is printing and the faxing are the most biggest revenue makers that we have right now for the library. My guys still, I have a all male staff, of course. Right now, I'm only down to 2 staff, which then only gives me 2, myself and 1 other, because Peter still has to go to the senior center to help out over there daily. So that kind of cuts me out one staff member again. But I do have a work study student from Northern who comes in on Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays in the afternoons to work part-time.
Thank goodness for that.
Yes. And I think that's about it. Any questions?
You said you're down to 2 staff to be fully
Yes.
staffed. What do you need?
What I need a children's programmer. And I currently have myself plus my programs coordinator, Michael, and then Peter's the one who goes back and forth between the library and the senior center.
Jeremy, are these positions currently advertised?
Yes, the children's program position just opened up within the month, so it's fairly new, and I'm pretty sure Shannon got that posted a week after
didn't see
it was
anything,
open,
yes.
but I'll double check on that.
Okay,
We do have a few applicants for the senior center supervisor, which will allow the library staff that's helping out over there now to be back at the library full time. So that'll be a huge burden relief. So
Thank you, Sherry, for.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Jeremy, I know it's not on the agenda, but can you update us on the senior center? Or is it-
it's next.
Oh, it
It's
is?
the
Get with it.
yeah, it's G
Oh, yeah, okay.
on our list. So yeah, I'll do and Gabriella asked me to do the report for her as well, so I'll briefly go through that. And the report for September, there was the looks like they sold had over 200 visitors at the gallery and consignment shop with over $1,000 in sales. The shop was open Tuesday through Friday, and looks like there's a photography exhibit in the gallery that will be happening November through December. The Blankets of the Enslaved Navajo collection, I know, has been put on. It's postponed, so that will not be happening as scheduled. So I know Gabrielle is going to help them set the museum back up in both of those rooms that we had set aside and actually just had repainted those 2 gallery space rooms in there. So they fresh coat of paint, and then the museum will be set back up, taking up all of those areas. So that'll be back up and running within a week or so. And the classes that are ongoing there. And then of course there was the art festival, which was it was fun. It's very exciting. I think they had great weather and a really good turnout, and I heard a lot of good things happening from there. And I did get one of Sherry's little pots. I got it beforehand. I wasn't able to make it to the event on Saturday, so I bought one before. Yes, I was impressed with her art. And any questions about the NEMRAC report? Moving on to the senior center report, I did have my Yvonne was out last week and a half on vacation, so she didn't give me the report until today, just on the numbers. So ticket sales for lunches are on par with what they have been all summer, maybe trending up just a little bit. Rentals are down a little bit. Typically we have a lot in the spring with graduations and a lot of events in the summer. So that's trending down a little bit, but that's pretty typical for this time of year with just a few less rentals over there. But I know we have 3 this weekend, so it's still pretty consistent. I did make a change on the hours that people can rent the facility over there. Typically it was kind of stay as late as you want, and as long as you're providing security, you do whatever you want. And that was really becoming an issue with the event space not being cleaned up afterwards, and outdoors there was significant amount of cigarettes and broken bottles of beer and trash cans full of beer. And so I decided that we aren't going to allow events to go after 10 o'clock, just to really curb that drinking on site, because they're not supposed to be drinking. The security is supposed to be taking care of that. And that just wasn't happening. And it's more of a liability for the city to allow those types of things to happen. We weren't getting complaints from the neighbors, but I don't want to, go until there is. So events can happen up until 10 p.m. Obviously, if there's something within the city that needs to run there after 10 p.m., whether it's council or staff that are doing an event, knowing that we know who's renting it, or some special event for the community that we're running, that can go after 10 o'clock. But I think that's really helped with my concerns of what's happening at the facility when we're not there to really monitor it. So that's, I think that's, if they want to party, they can go somewhere else and party. So. And then community services overview. So a lot of the things we talked about, the events coming up, Halloween on the 27th. Be happy to see people there. Volunteers needed. We can do a press release if there's a possibility of a quorum, no action taken. Let me know if we think we're going to have more than a few counselors there. We can take care of that. Pickleball program, if you have a chance, come out and check it out. We are moving forward with 2 new HVAC units over the weight room at the recreation center. Those 2 units that are on top of the weight room specifically are, and one's on its last leg, and both of them are so old that they don't even make the parts for them anymore. And so it's really costing us more in maintenance. And so those 2, Jeff Sargent is taking the lead on those. And so we're working on getting those purchased and installed as soon as we can. And those are both in the budget, so that's good. We did plan for that. Today we started looking at what it's going to take to bring the basketball, tennis ball, pickleball courts over at Ranchitos up. So the legwork has started on what do we want there, concrete, not the asphalt. We'll definitely take a look at the drainage issues over there, lighting, because that is kind of one of the pluses, is that people can play after dark, and the lighting is also a safety thing. If there's lights there, then people don't tend to loiter and do less community friendly events. And I did mention we have a couple applications for a senior center supervisor, and then a handful for my administrative assistant as well. So I think I'm making everybody happy with those announcements here today. And the fencing at Ranchitos Pool, so do we have a quote to increase the height? Actually, it's the same height. So right now the fence around the pool is a 6-foot cinder block wall with up to 4 feet of wrought iron fencing around it. And then it's only about 2.5 or 3 feet of the picket fence along the back. And so I've got a quote on extending the pro panel fencing, which is, you can't see through it, but it's also much harder to climb over with the wrought iron. You can just like grab onto it and step over it. So that all the way along up to 10 feet, which is existing height, is the plan. And so we have a proposal for that. Also looking at making sure we've got the money in the budget, maybe shifting a few of our other expected expenditures just to make sure that gets done, because it is a security. We are putting the pool cover on hopefully this week, maybe next week. That'll help keep that safe and secure. We're looking at extending internet over there so that we can have security cameras, so that we can run the cash register up front, so that we can just make it a safer place when somebody's not there monitoring it. So that's and it'll look a lot better with the consistent fence all the way around. And with it's kind of hodgepodge right now, just because of the years of the fence that's been there. And we did get the contract for the membership monitoring software and hardware for the Lucero Center. And so hopefully have that installed within a month. We're waiting on the equipment to arrive. And we'll get all the members up in the system, new liability waivers signed for everybody. The consistent pricing, price points for access. So it'll be $3 to access the facility, regardless of what you're doing there, taking a shower, going to a water aerobics class, gymnasium, weight room. $3 gets you in the door no matter what's happening. So if you're there for a program, we may have specific program fees like boxing or whatever, because that's we don't pay the instructor to be there. He's doing it as a volunteer and it's for youth. So that something like that, we're not going to charge them $3 every time they come to a class. So like classes may have a specific rate that is either included in membership and they don't have to pay extra for that. So that's a good way. And with this tracking system, we'll know who's there, when they're using it, how often they're using it, if their payments are due. They scan the barcode on a little like key tag that you can just put on your keychain. Your smartphone can also install a QR code that's specific to you and your membership. So the scanner will read your QR code on your phone. So you don't have to carry anything extra around. You just everybody has their phone typically. So it's a good way to monitor access and to really keep track of payments. There was that's ticking marks on a piece of paper for every time somebody comes in is time consuming, and then somebody has to tally it up. So this will be a great time as consumer. We can look at reports and really use that in the future to say, hey, what are our hours that are peak usage? Do we need to increase certain days or times of the day? Do we need to decrease if we're looking at cost savings, or if we have staff shortages or something like that? So I think long term, it's a really good investment. So I'm happy to have that going.
We had a discussion that it would be also a way to inform the public that are enrolled in classes get canceled for some reason.
Yep, exactly. So with the membership, when you sign up for the membership, even if you're just there for, you just have a punch pass that you're only using occasionally, we've got all your information in the system. Phone number for emergency contacts, emails for the push notifications. And when you sign up and we know that you're in certain programs like water aerobics, you sign up for those push notifications. And then we say, hey, the aerobics and water aerobics instructor is running late, just so you know, or the pool's closed because of chemicals or lightning or something, lifeguards are sick. So that notification can go out as soon as we know. And I think it alleviates a lot of frustration. Just people knowing before they've kind of are at the door is a huge relief as a participant. And it's, definitely a burden off of our shoulders to just be like, all right, this notification, if you're getting a notification that you don't want, you can just opt out of it right away. So or you can opt into other ones. So, and then going forward, we could even send out newsletters or weekly updates, or here's the programs that are happening that are upcoming or new. And so, we can keep the users informed about that. Like, hey, pickleball's starting, come try it out. So, yeah, it is. It's a great system.
Did you have an update on Lucero Center Park, moving basketball courts, tennis courts down there, or?
I'm sorry, which park?
Right here, the Lucero Center, the basketball courts. You guys were talking about moving the skate park and.
Oh, at Valdez Park, right? Yeah. Sorry. I'm stumbling because he threw a loop in my direction. I don't have the latest update on that. Jeff Sargent and Elijah were working on that project, and city manager could probably speak more to that, but I don't remember having an update or what there was the pump track that was kind of the next one where they were going to the bicycle concrete. And I thought we pushed that forward, but I don't remember.
I have not moved in on that at all. Bryce, Elijah or Jeff.
Yeah, and there was
not the park by the hospital, right? No, this one right here.
Yeah. And there was a play structure that was trying to be purchased for that as well. Yeah, that Jeff Sargent and Elijah are on that. That's their area. And I guess that's all that I have. Were there any other questions or comments?
No,
Nope, no questions here.
thank you, Jeremy. You're doing a great job. The community needed it, so thank you. All the updates. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 20th, 2023. Again, thank you, Mr. CM, for being here. I adjourn this meeting at 7:14.